Why don't you tell everyone what your dating life, your love life was like when you first came to me?
So first, when I came to Bari, my husband passed away, and I was so so sad, and my whole world kind of collapsed, and I didn't know how to put myself together. And it was I had a plan, and when Barry talked about designing your dating life, and if you choose to live again, I could help you. And that was magic words in my ear. And then slowly and surely accessing the program and doing all the exercises and the vision boards and all the things that lift you up and brings you in a vibration, a high vibration. That was key for me to kind
Wow.
of dream again and allow it to be to to be happy again. And first started with with myself being whole, and that was so important and so crucial in finding the one. And, um, Barry's steps were perfect, and I kind of have I believed in Barry and with all my heart, and I knew it's gonna work for me
Oh,
somehow, time, somewhere. However, I had so many challenges. My mom got sick, my father passed away. I was between here and Europe all the time. And I think sometimes is working, allowing God and co-creating with divine. And even meeting law, um, it was not in my how I would imagine it will be. Probably I would not see him if I was processing from my head, but I kind
exactly.
of accessed my heart, and I was in
Oh.
my, and I gave him a chance because we had two dates in one day.
So before we get to that, which is just the yummy, yummy story, what were some of the things that you had tried? You were heartbroken. What are there things that you tried before you and I came together to solve the loneliness or relationship challenges, not meeting your person?
I was, and I was on the apps, and it was it was not it was not clicking. Something that I was doing was not right, and I was not sure what I was not doing right. And now I know what I'm
Right.
doing right.
Right, exactly, exactly. And so, uh, what were some of the so we're hearing that you went from your heart, your head, and confusion into your heart. And so then tell us now, like, what was what changed in your approach? What changed in your approach?
What changed was staying in my high vibration and letting go,
Yes.
letting story of it could happen for me. It's hard. I was I was processing from that. So um, turning on the other side of co-creating with God, being in my feminine, um, putting a smile on my face, and also going into the apps. It was going with that vibration. It was totally different.
Right.
The matches that they came, and people that had showed up, and it was totally different.
Totally different. And do you remember, so there were some big breakthroughs in the inner shifting, right? From the past, right? Things from childhood that had to be handled, right? Right.
Yes.
Yes. And so tell us now, what is your love life like now? What happened?
So I met him on the app, and I clicked on him, and we chat for a few times, and then he came to visit.
And
When we first met, he didn't look quite like the picture, and was a little bit kind of, I was kind of not in my head, was like I couldn't put them together. But then he invited me for dinner at the same day. He really liked me. And I said, okay, why I'll go. And dinner, I don't know what changed. So he looked different. I was more kind of not in my head. I was like flowing, and I dressed out really pretty, and I looked really nice, and the place was beautiful. And then something happened. We kind of clicked and had a beautiful conversation. And then he said, let's walk around. And he saw a concert. Oh, it's gonna be a concert tomorrow. You want to go? And it was Beatles, and I love Beatles. And then over there, he kind of lead. Everything was like, let's do a picnic, let's go there. Was the seats were taken. It's like he found a table, and we're gonna go upstairs, and everything kind of, we danced, and it was like, wow, this
Yeah.
it was it was magical.
Oh. And so with this magic, what did you notice about so we're hearing Elena sharing about, it's kind of like childbirth. You forget all of the past because now you're in a totally different space. And so when you have these conversations with him, we have meaningful conversations, right? We learn how to share and ask, right? So it's not like open-ended. We're not just looking for a good time. We're looking for attraction, shared values, emotional needs. So we're seeing like, so how was that feeling that this man took leadership? And what were the conversations like about a future together?
From the beginning, we talked about uh, everything. We started with values, and we lined up actually on the phone calls before we met. And then I asked him about his intentions, and we talked about finding our soulmate and partner. And then it was, for me, it was the distance, because it's 2 hours and a half between us. And he was like, well, for love, I'll try. And
For love, I'll drive, right? That's
uh,
leadership. That's being treated like a princess, right? Okay.
we see each other once a week. We made work with our schedules, and everything lines up, because I work from home, and he does too. So it it's flowing, and together everything is flowing. And I have in my head what I want to do and what I want to go, and I kind of think about it. And like last weekend when I was there, and he said, oh, we're gonna go to the beach, and we're gonna go to a show, and we're gonna go to church. He's like, oh my goodness, everything thinking. So because I'm in my flowing and not stuck in my head, I allow everything and I let him lead. And I'm in my feminine and I listen more and talk less.
Right, right, exactly. So when we first start dating, often we're blocked up, we're in grief, we're upset, we're sad, we're angry, we have voices from childhood, right? So you've really done a 180, right, in your ability to receive this man, right?
Yes, by dating myself and the program, your program, and following your program and doing the steps really, really helped because I knew how to shift and go from one side to the other side and making a habit. It takes time to do a habit and going from your old thinking to the new thinking. It's a process and it's allowing and helping and waiting and believing and it's all combined.
Right, right. It's all combined. We're getting some hearts here, right? We love that. And so it's sweet and it's romantic and he's leading. Talk about, because people often ask about attraction and talk about the attraction, like what he's like.
He's very athletic and very, very handsome. Um, I really, when I'm in his arms, I melt. And he's he's so sweet. And yesterday he wrote me a card. It's you have my attention and my heart, and so thoughtful. And I couldn't imagine it with my thoughts. This was divine intervention, 100%. How we met, how things flows, and how my property. I have two palms, and on his property he has two palms. It's like so many things. Kind of- And yesterday he gave me flowers, and
Oh,
these are
oh.
leaves, and they're like symbolize innocence and purity. And it's like, oh wow, it's like it does. It's like, and the actions, not all the things, the actions they speak more words.
That's right. And when we talk about, so he's athletic, she feels so good in his arms, and the practical aspects, when you talk about your future, she's in Palm Springs, he's in LA, they're talking about, right? You're talking about living in one place part-time, in the other, going to Florida together, right?
Yes, yes, he wants to buy a property there, and he shows me pictures, what they think. This one. So it's so wonderful to plan together and to put our lifestyles together. And that's very, very important. And we cook together and we're doing little together. And sometimes the little things
That's
that
right.
important. Yes.
That's
Just
right.
be together. And sometimes doing nothing. And sometimes I work on my computer, he works on his, and we together. But it's so precious.
It's precious. So what I want you guys to know is that the Elena and Law, his name is Lawrence, this is because the way we date is so authentic, right? Elena got out of her way, she got out of her grief, we unwound childhood. She had a specific way of dating, a specific way that invites in only the right people and the right conversations that are meaningful. Because if we don't clear that first part of ourselves, then you could have these conversations with emotionally unavailable men for the next 20 years. And that's what most of us do when I'm so self-aware, but receiving is new. So Elena, how does it feel now to be planning and receiving and asking for what you want, talking about finances and merging lives? How does that feel inside?
It feels magical, and it feels so, I'm like blessed. I'm so blessed, and I'm so blessed you coming into my life, and for all your help and your guidance and being there each step of the way, and the community so important, and the friendships through the community, and hearing the stories, and every time is like exactly what I need to hear, and meeting and consistency and showing up, and I did show up as much as I could,
You
and
absolutely did.
it's so important to show up for yourself and keep dreaming and don't lose hope, and also sometimes seeing with the eyes of God. It's so important because sometimes we see things that we want to see, but sometimes let God kind of guide, and
Right. But you
right,
showed up to do the work.
100%.
Right? Let God lead, but now your heart was open to do the actions and the steps to invite in this man that when it was right, it flowed. Ladies and gentlemen, you see the flow. This is just very prototypical. Over this week, you're going to meet some other people that felt like Elena in the beginning, only now it's 5 years or 10 years or 12 years, right? Because this is it. This is the beginning of a lifetime together because they're already dreaming together. They're planning together. They're experiencing each other. We're not waiting to say, oh, well, I'm not going to tell him, or I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to scare him off. No, we want to scare people off who don't share our vision and our goals. Exactly. And our core emotional needs. And when we've been wounded so much, so in childhood, not getting our needs met, we're wounded. And look at Elena now. So, Elena, what would you tell? I'm going to show them the program next, like how the actual program works. What advice would you give them about just investing in themselves and doing the work?
um, I always put myself first, and I deserve, and I know it's a big investment, but it's so worth it. And you don't invest now, when? And Barry's program is brilliant, and it it works because if you don't know what you don't know,
Right,
yes.
right.
So important to have the steps and to follow them and do the work, and it's like designing. I'm an architect, so
You're
you
an architect.
plan, and you have to have the steps of building the house, or building your dream, or your yard, or your garden, or whatever you want to build, your life. So you have to have the steps, and the right steps, and those are priceless.
Oh, Elena, thank you for sharing with them. I so appreciate it. Right. And the ROI, right now you have a soulmate for the rest of your life to grow with and dream with and expand. You know, it's so exciting. Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much.